Hello folks, I'm Kev and welcome to my first Football Manager 2018 video of the year. Don't panic, it's not the first Football Manager content we've had of the year. If you want to see my 3.5 hour long first impressions video, it was a stream from last night. That's here on the channel as well. You can find a link to that up in one of the corners somewhere, so you can go and check that out if you want my first impressions of the game. And my first Let's Play is due out later on today, 4 PM, episode 1 with Monaco. But before any of that, I've left the game holidaying overnight while I slept, because, you know, sometimes even I have to sleep, just to give us some predictions for how various divisions are going to turn out over the course of 2017-18. If you remember, we did this at the start of the football season using an updated database on FM18, so we'll have a little comparison with that. Today we're going to be looking at the Premier League, and over the course of the next few days we're going to look at the other divisions in England, plus the major European leagues as well, to get unofficial Football Manager 2018 predictions for the 2017-18 season. But before any of that, I just want to remind you what Football Manager 2017 thought was going to happen in the Premier League this season. So this was the Premier League table according to Football Manager 2017. We're not going to dwell on this too much. If you want to watch the whole video, again, it will be linked around somewhere, so you can go back and watch the Football Manager 2017 version of this. The key points, though: Football Manager 17 on an updated database decided Man City was going to win the Premier League, followed by Arsenal, Liverpool and Tottenham in the Champions League spots. So only the Europa League for Man United and Chelsea. And then relegated were Huddersfield, Crystal Palace and Brighton, who you can't see because they're off the bottom of the screen. So remember all of that. And now we're going to compare them with the Football Manager 2018 version based on the one season of holidaying that I've done. And here we have it, a completely different outcome. This time we have Chelsea winning the Premier League. Football Manager 17 decided they were going to finish 6th. 5th place from 17, Man United finishing 2nd. Arsenal dropped down a place from 2nd to 3rd. Liverpool from 3rd to 4th. Tottenham from 4th to 5th. And Man City, the biggest fallers of all, dropping from Premier League champions based on our FM17 prediction, all the way down to 6th place based on the FM18 prediction. The relegated teams are Leicester, Brighton and Huddersfield, and that Leicester one is massive, because if you haven't got the game yet or you haven't already checked, they have got Claude Puel as manager on Leicester. They're that up to date with the database. However, they haven't now, and we'll get to that in a minute. But we're going to have a little nose around some of the more interesting details that we can find about this Premier League outcome. The most interesting thing, I think, of all, is if we go into the player stats, top scorer for the Premier League for this season is predicted to be Chris Wood of Burnley, with 23 goals from 38 appearances. Now, I've signed Chris Wood in various Football Manager games in the past. He's always done well for me. I don't know if I'm backing him to be Premier League top scorer in real life, though. That's something I'll leave up to you guys to decide how likely we think that is to happen. And then we've got a load of the usual suspects closely behind him, but on quite a low number of goals. The one that really stood out to me, Romelu Lukaku, who FM18 is predicting is only going to score 14 league goals in 34 appearances for Man United. So it's not even as if they're rotating the team a lot and he's not playing very many games. They're only predicting 14 goals for a team that's supposed to be finishing 2nd in the league, which, I don't know, he's not a million miles away from that in real life yet, is he? I think if he plays 34 league games for Man United in real life, I would be very surprised if he doesn't end up as the Premier League's top scorer. So to see him down in 6th place on only 14 goals, bit of a surprise. And that was a similar thing to what Football Manager always thought about Romelu Lukaku last year. For whatever reason, it never seems to get a 30 goal season out of Romelu Lukaku. So that was an interesting one. Dele Alli projected to finish above him, level on goals with Aguero and Sanchez, all on 16 goals, with Morata due to be the 2nd highest scorer in the Premier League with 17 goals from 36 appearances. Where did we get to? Average rating, if we get that one up on the screen. Best player in the Premier League, Juan Mata, an average rating of 7.848, man of the matches from 29 appearances, followed by Hazard. And if you remember, on FM17, this was massively dominated by defenders, and then we start to see that it's not as much of domination, but we get an awful lot of defenders in this top 16. Alderweireld, Cresswell, Blint, Christensen, Matip, Mertesacker, Vertonghen. I don't know what position Charlie Daniels plays. He's a defender too. Excellent stuff. And then you have got some of the typical players you'd expect to have here, like Mata, like Hazard, Pogba in there as well, De Bruyne. I mean, De Bruyne, 7th place. Do you reckon? Do we all think that at the end of this season we're going to be celebrating how Aaron Cresswell had a much better season than Kevin De Bruyne? I think that might be just a smidgen of a stretch. Another interesting element is, of course, the transfers that FM17 is expecting to see over the course of this season. So if we have a look at the transfer screen, sort that by fee, and have a look to see what big transfers we should expect to still happen in the Premier League in January. And the big move in January is going to be Jordi Alba from Barcelona to Chelsea for £53 million up front, with the potential for it to rise up to £63 million. So he's going to be coming in. Chelsea are going to sign a left back. They don't play with fullbacks, do they? We'll check that in a minute. Other than that, some other big money signings. Aspas to Tottenham, Perisic to Man City, Kieran Tierney from Celtic to Arsenal. That's a big fee for him. He's a young lad, isn't he? There you go. 20-year-old left back. Massive, massive fee to take him to Arsenal. And then various others. El Neni goes from Arsenal to Man City for £12 million. I mean, really? Anything else weird that sticks out at me on there? Not massively, I don't think. Jack Wilshere left Arsenal to go to West Ham for £7.5 million. I mean, that's probably not that unrealistic, is it? Let's have a look at manager movements as well. So, manager movements. There's been quite a few, and they all seem to concern the same bunch. It's the underachieving clubs. Who'd have thought? So, Brighton, Chris Hughton sacked from Brighton at the end of the season after he got them relegated. So Brighton finished 19th in the Premier League. Chris Hughton got the sack. To be fair, it looks like they've kept with him right until the moment that they got relegated. So that seems fair enough. He's been replaced by Carlos Cavallal. I don't know who he is. Who is he? Achievements has changed to milestones, and it confuses me. He was the Sheffield Wednesday manager previously. I hear he's not having the best season in real life. That's interesting. He's going to be Brighton manager at the end of this season. So Sheffield Wednesday fans, don't worry. You don't have to put up with your current form for much longer. Leicester, although they started off with Claude Puel, there you go. We've got him arriving. Actually, we don't have him arriving on here. That's weird, because later on we have Ronald. Let's sort this by date, because I'm getting confused. Oh, we do have Claude Puel leaving. Right, so from the start of the season, Ronald Koeman leaving, as he did in real life, with Gerardo Martino coming in, also leaving a month after Koeman. Oops. They hired Craig Shakespeare on the 8th of December, and I think Shakespeare led them to safety. If we have a look at Everton's season, they finished 17th. And yeah, when Shakespeare came in, it was all looking a bit rough for Everton. But Craig Shakespeare, the man Leicester forgot, comes in and saves Everton's season. Probably relegating Leicester in the process. If we actually have a look to see what Leicester's season shape looks. I mean, there, look at that. So Craig Shakespeare, let go by Leicester, ends up being the man who relegates them in the process of saving Everton. So he's now there. Crystal Palace sacked Roy Hodgson in January, and it looks like they haven't replaced him. Dougie Friedman's in as caretaker manager, but I don't think they have a permanent. Oh, there you go. Javier Aguirre is their manager now. We've left our proper order again, haven't we? Just to confuse me. There you go. That's what we're trying to do. And then we have Chris Hughton as well. So not a huge amount of manager turnover, but it is interesting to see that the two last-minute sackings that affected the FM18 database, neither of the new appointments lasted very long in their new job. Now, I wonder if that's because the game was all set up to have those guys probably under threat in their jobs anyway and have difficult starts to the season, and the act of swapping the manager out didn't really change that. Or whether it's predicting that the new appointments aren't going to be very good. I'm sure we'll find out in the fullness of time. And then lastly, let's have a look at our award winners for this season. So, Premier League, we don't want Player of the Month, we want the big awards. Golden Glove is going to go to Courtois, with Cech and Begovic as the runners-up. Footballer of the Year, Alexis Sanchez, who's still at Arsenal. Has he signed a new contract? No. So he's going to be leaving as player of the season and one of the highest scorers in the Premier League. And Man City are the ones who are after him at the end of his contract. That's quite interesting. Who else have we got in here? Manager of the year to Eddie Howe of Bournemouth. Where did Bournemouth finish? Bournemouth with a 7th place finish. I think that's fair. Manager of the year for 7th place finish with Bournemouth. Players team of the year. Got Courtois in goal. A back four of Cresswell, Matip, Alderweireld and Smith. With Sigurdsson, really? Everton almost got relegated. Midfielders Sigurdsson, Pogba, Mata and Sanchez. Let's have a look to see how his season went. So, in an Everton team that was close to relegation, he's averaged less than a 7. Only 2 man of the matches. And that's enough to get him in the Premier League team of the season. Weird. And then up front, we've got Chris Wood and Sergio Aguero. And then lastly, young player of the year is Dele Alli. Again, Dele Alli wins it every year. Top scorer we've already seen is Chris Wood. And we don't need to worry about young player of the month unless you're a big Mikel Merino fan at Newcastle. And there we have it. That is what Football Manager 2018 is expecting to see from this season's Premier League. A Chelsea win, Man United, Arsenal and Liverpool in the Champions League. And Pep Guardiola, did he survive or did I miss him on those manager movements? Because if they finish 6th, surely he gets sacked. He did get sacked. And it's now Luis Enrique as Man City manager. How did I skip over that one? One other thing. Formation check. Let's see what formations are working in FM18. Kev needs this for his own research. So, at Chelsea, they're doing the 3-4-3 to win the Premier League. Man United are doing the 4-2-3-1 to come second. So that's 1 vote each for those at the moment. Arsenal, the 3-4-3. So it's 2-1 to the 3-4-3. Liverpool are doing a 4-2-3-1. It's 2-2 again, everybody. Tottenham, a version of the 3-4-3. I'm calling that 3-2. And then Man City, a 4-3-3. I think that tells me the 3-4-3 might be the formation this year, closely followed by 4-2-3-1. Let me know down in the comments if you've simulated a season or made it to the end of your first season in FM18, who ended up winning the league, what management movements or interesting transfers have you seen, do you think this is accurate, and what formation are you using? Because I'm stuck at the moment in my own game, that's why I've not put that video out yet. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on all of the FM18 content that's going to be coming out over here over the coming days, weeks and months. And thank you very much for watching.